Good morning. My name is Dr. Larry Force, and I'd like to welcome you to the Proactive Caring School Exchange. As you know, we do this every Wednesday. As you know, this Proactive Caring program was formulated through our Center on Aging and Disability Policy that Jeff Kahana and I are directors of. And Elaine Sproat, who's on the call today as well, as always, and we appreciate this so much, Elaine, is the project director. And we took a concept, curriculum that was developed in one particular fashion, supported by the New York State Developmental Disability Planning Council. They've been tremendous partners. And we launched this 3-year program. First year we did focus groups, small groups, support groups. Second year we did train the trainer, and then COVID knocked on our door, all of our doors. And as a result of that, we pivoted, and we pivoted rapidly, and we pivoted well. And I say that not only my words, but the words of people that are commenting on the product that Lisa Nathan and Peggy Pisano have spearheaded. We've received acknowledgement locally, statewide, and nationally. We were going to go to only do April when schools were closed. Then we were going to go to the end of June when schools were closed. And then, you know, obviously now with this mixed message, and I thought about this morning, it's a true mixed message. You know, the gyms are opening in New York City, but the schools are closing. You're trying to figure out what direction to go in. And, you know, the title of today is Being Present for Students in These Changing Times. And look, there's no better topic, and we really feel as though that we can be present for parents, for individuals, for families, for agencies. Lisa Nathan as a parent advocate, meditator, and Peggy Pisano as a school psychologist advocate have come together with a combined voice. And the format that we have now for September is that we have guests come on, highlighted guests. And it's kind of artificial for me to refer to Stacy Orzel as a guest because she's been so involved in this. But Stacy, we're so happy that you've decided that, you know, that when I called you, you said absolutely. So I want to give you a little bit of background of Stacy. Stacy graduated with her master's degree in communication. Her professional path changed after having 2 sons. Her oldest son, Jason, is an honors student. He's a wonderful brother. He plays guitar, and he plans to become an educator. Her younger son, Eric, loves science, Power Rangers, painting, any beach, and he has high-functioning autism. And Eric is also the artist that created the profile for the Lisa and Peggy corner that's on our website. So, and Elaine was able to put that in our last newsletter. So please, Eric, thank you so much. Nowadays, Stacy, and I love this term, in a conversation she told me this, she calls herself, and his focus is a Google class mom. That's a great term, Google class mom, choosing full-time remote instruction. She's turned her 2 bedrooms into classrooms, hoping that her learners are ready to go and have what they need to do their best. She was awarded the New York Parent Advocate 2017 award by Mental Health Association in New York State. She was awarded an alumni of distinction from her alma mater, SUNY Oneonta, and that obviously, the side note, that's where Peg went to school too. Stacy is a Special Olympic swim coach of 5 years and a certified swim angelfish, teaching water safety and swim skills. She loves to help others, empower, educate, encourage, motivate, collect shells, enjoy music, travel, live, love, and laugh often. And she has another affiliation too, which I know that she's very proud of. And she'll talk about that in a second. So Lisa and Peggy, I think at this point, probably the best thing to do would be to turn it over to Stacy, and then we can add comments from the behavioral perspective and the parent meditator perspective. Okay, good. So Stace, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be here. I'm proud to collaborate with your team from the first meeting to now. I've really had a benefit both inside and out, helping empower me to be a better mom, a better friend, and a better person. And I'll share my thoughts. I've created a small Google slide presentation. We'll go through that. And as you have comments or questions, let me know and jump right in. Thanks so much, Larry. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Elaine, Peggy, and Lisa for all your hard work and dedication.
And here you are.
project. It really
here,
is great.
And here, I think everybody, I think you, oh, you're welcome so much, Stacey. I think everybody can see the my desktop now.
Yes.
Okay, so let's walk through this.
Yes.
The other thing, just a side note, Lisa is joining us until about 10:45. Okay, so when her screen goes blank, it's not because of the fact it's something that I said. It's because that she has to go. All right, so Stacey, let's walk through this quickly and open it up for discussion.
Great. So as Dr. Force said, today we're focusing really on being present for students during these changing times, which means either in a school, in a community, or certainly for learners at home doing remote instruction.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Okay.
Take care of yourself, then you can help others. This is such an important message. We've all heard this in different ways as we live our life. You know, the common example is on an airplane, they'll drop the mask and you have to put your own first so that you could then help others. After joining the Proactive Caring group, thanks to Lisa Nathan, which I'll get to again in another minute, I've been able to find other ways to embrace meditation. I'm a fast New Yorker, I'm a redhead, I'm a go-getter. I take action and it's hard for me to slow down. And at some point I realized that probably was the yin and my yang that would give me a much better balance if I could slow down. And I've found Ron McShane through Facebook. He's a Qigong master, and he says, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. And then he wants you to kind of read that again and think about that. And it really is a very, very powerful message. I like to have a word shift with regards to mental wellness to change the word. We talk about mental illness, and I would like us to be thinking from a positive perspective over time to make that mental wellness. So I think that that's really an important concept. Next slide. I thank you guys so much. You really gave me a gift. The gift of meditation was never something I thought I could do. Lisa told me at our meeting and gave permission that it was okay not to clear my mind. I used to try that. I did prenatal yoga when I was pregnant with my Jason, who's featured in this picture. 16 years old, there he is, having a moment on the beach. And I always thought you had to clear it and you had to kind of pause, and I have trouble doing that. There's always more thoughts, the wheels are spinning. But Lisa said it was okay. She led us in a meditation in a meeting, said just focus on the breathing. I wasn't sure what to do with my hands. I'm a speaker, I'm a mover, and I opened my eyes in that meditation. I remember it clearly and looked across the room. She was sitting opposite me, and they were just relaxed peacefully on her knees. So through that, I must say, I learned how to meditate and I've embraced it. She said it was okay to just start with 3 minutes. I didn't think that that was enough in my mind, but boy, when we turned the lights off in the room that day at Mount St. Mary campus as a group, I learned 3 minutes feels like a long time. So with that, I would love to have Lisa engage us in a short meditation, because I did not carve out time yet this morning to make that happen. I have continued, and I've found a few other ways to embrace styles of meditation throughout my week. So really, thank you. It's a tremendous gift. Lisa, if you're available, if we move to the next slide, it has a peace sign, and I think that's a nice way to also engage.
Sure.
Because if you make time for your inner peace, which I've found, you can increase your outer peace. Not always. Things happen. There are road bumps, but that's part of life, right? As Larry said a few minutes ago, too.
Okay. Absolutely. Hi, everybody. I just want to let everybody know, just a caveat, we're sitting outside here with my friend on a patio down by the Jersey Shore, so there's a lot going on, but that's okay. That's all right. So the presentation is talking about the present moment, and I just kind of wanted to bring us to that for one moment. I want to tell you a story. I often walk my dogs on this trail behind my house. And one day I'm out there and this big tree fell down over the trail. So I couldn't walk on the path anymore, and I made a little detour around the path. Okay, fast forward a few weeks. I'm out there, I'm walking the trail, and this is only about 2 years ago, so I had already been meditating for a while. I'm out there walking, I walk up, you know, whatever, I do my detour, and I'm walking back, and I look and I go, oh my goodness. I was so lost in thought on my way walking up the trail. I hadn't even noticed that the tree had been cut and moved, and that path was clear. And that's how much we can be lost in our thoughts and not be in the present moment. So what does it even mean in the present moment? Where are your thoughts right now? Are they in the past, thinking about something that happened? Are they in the future, worrying about something, fearing something, fantasizing about something in the future? We often bounce back and forth between our past and our future. But here we are, the only place we can truly be is where our bodies are, which is here in the present moment. And to be in the present, we connect our minds and our bodies so we can be here. And in the here, in the present, is where we have clarity, is where we can think through the things we need to work on. It's here. So let's just take a moment. And we always start by taking a breath. We're going to breathe. Remember, we're going to breathe out through our bellies. We're going to breathe in through our nose, pushing our bellies out. And a nice long exhale out of our mouths. Because when we increase the exhale, we trigger our rest and digest mode, and we relax, and we can enter more fully into our bodies. One more breath in. And release. Let me bring my awareness of where I am, my body of where I am, sitting on this chair, my feet flat on the ground. And I'm okay with whatever is happening. I hear sounds. It's okay, I just let them move through me. And I just breathe. And I focus on the breath coming in through my nose and out through my nose. And we use our breath because it's always available. And when my mind drifts, because it will, I just come back. It's just the coming back, which is the meditation. It doesn't matter where you drift off to. Be gentle, be kind, and just come back to your breath. Do about 30 seconds of just being here in the here and now, coming back to your body. Breathing. Not judging yourself when you drift off. Coming back with kindness and patience. The here and now is where the gifts are. It's where the solutions are. It's where your clarity is. It's where your best self is. Here. Wishing you your moments of peace and clarity in the present. Thank you.
I love what you say about your best self is here and now. It's hard, you know, when you think about things that you did or didn't do in the past, you could get caught up in the rumble, what you want to do, making your to-do list going forward. But that's a powerful statement about your best self is right now, and what you're doing in this moment is really what counts. You're a gift, Lisa. Thank you very much. I want to say that it also took me probably into the first minute before I remembered another tip you once gave me, which is to drop your shoulders. I have a lot of stress that I carry in my neck, and I think
It's very true.
you,
We all do.
your
We all do.
shoulders
It's a
are
great,
up
it's a great
somewhere
moment to
between
do
up
it.
at the
Thank you, Peggy.
ears and midway or down. And then something else I learned is often we carry our tongue at the roof of our mouth, which is another higher stress place to have body parts out of order for relaxation. So I think that that is important to share those two tips. Thank you. That
Awesome,
was
Stacy.
wonderful.
You're very welcome.
I've gotten a lot out of the little information you have shared so far has been super meaningful, Lisa. So, and I've passed it on to others. Thank you for the work you do. Dr. Larry, if we can move to the next slide. Thank you. I have discovered tapping. Tapping is a simple set of exercises that can benefit anyone. This exercise was developed in the military, and it helps individuals cope with stress and anxiety. These are different small exercises that can be done in small ways. Tapping on pressure points is essentially the skill behind this, in places around your face, tapping on the chest, tapping a bit up here. So if this is not something you've already found, I found this to be very helpful. They have a free app. Nick Ordner and his sister Jessica run their group. They've produced the Best-Selling Times book that I share here as a resource, and I think that that has also been very helpful for me. Next. Now we'll move into the remote education piece. So strategies from a Google Class mom, that's me, supporting my remote learners. I have two boys, 13 and 16. So I'm caught right now in middle school and high school, and it's a challenging time. This is Eric's classroom setting. You see that he has a laptop for use, which he used in the spring when we started quarantine, successfully signing into his Google Classroom when he needed to. It took him about 3 months to become comfortable with it. Eric has high functioning autism, and he likes his routine, and he really struggled with not going to school every day. Bless him, may that always serve him well. He's a happy-go-lucky kid, wakes up in the morning and was happy to get on a bus and become a student and give it his all. So adjusting to the transition of being an at-home learner was surely a challenge for him. He rose to the occasion. We're not quite at, he made that challenge into a strength, but he's riding the wave, and I'm really proud of him. I recently came to a conversation with a friend, and they told me in Mexico, they're using closed captioning for remote learning through the TVs. Most families have one. Not all families have a computer. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. Why aren't we doing that? What a great idea. And then I thought to myself, level 2 could be, for my remote classroom, by use of just one cable, tap the Google Class into the TV. And then he'll have his teacher on his TV screen, and he can use his laptop for his reading of perhaps the transcript. Larry, if we move to the next slide, I talk about having a home classroom that's engaging and organized, which of course is really important. The next slide tells us some strategies in a homeschool setting. I suggest organizing and labeling the supplies, have a place for your spares in case your child has another need, have comfortable seating, communicate with your educators and see if they have any specific needs or school supply requests. You want to consider a plain backdrop that's not too distracting to both the viewer, the educator, and also for some of the students on the other remote end. I think if the scene is more clean, then it's easier for everyone that's participating. Our next slide shows scheduling, creating a routine. Be flexible, sometimes that changes, and accept the change. And then the very next one shows a technology piece where we started using Alexa to set alarms. Eric at some point signed into a meeting a little bit late. One time he missed a small meeting, and we thought, I was using a timer on his desk. It would ding and it wasn't enough. We use Alexa to set alarms. We set them 5 minutes before the class. We shared that with his team of teachers. Other people have taken to it. It works really well. He responds to it. In addition to using the TV, I was in another conversation with someone and I learned, turn on the closed captioning. Some students learn more by reading. Some are more visual learners. Turn on the transcripting feature. Wow, what a great way to take notes. So I'm going to actually talk to my son's team of teachers and ask if they can turn on the transcripting feature and share that transcript per lesson with every student. That's, in a sense, a great way to have class notes for review and for study. So we're going to start with that this season, and hopefully that will also be a really beneficial strategy. If you don't have an Alexa, you can use a timer on another device. Every phone's got one, or a standard kitchen timer is another suggestion. Next slide, please. Again, just using one HDMI cable can easily connect your laptop to your LCD TV if you have one. And that could be a great way to enhance a learning setting in a home classroom. Thank you. Next slide. Let the sun shine in. I like to suggest that you consider your lighting in your classroom setting. The illumination should really be from the front of the learner so the educator can see that the student is focusing on the learning. I think it's been a hard place, certainly for my son, being remote, where the teacher doesn't see if he's having a moment. In the classroom, you have that social distance closer to be able to see, maybe he put his pencil down, maybe he's stuck, he's having a moment of frustration. That's a little harder for a teacher to get a read on a student if they're moving along or they're needing reinforcement with repetition or further explanation. So if the lighting is good on the student, that's going to help the educator to be able to hopefully see those signs if they're needed. In this case, I share an image, and this is a backlit scenario. So you want to try and avoid the lighting from behind and illuminate your student more from the front, either by opening shades, depending on where you're sitting and the angle in your room, but that's great, something great to consider. Thanks, Larry. Next slide, please. Build in movement breaks. This is so important for everyone. You know, the 7th inning stretch has a lot to be said for the fact that we should get up and shake it out a little bit. This can help decrease stress and increase self-regulation. Peggy can talk a lot about that, I'm sure. Would you like to jump in and give a strategy or two while we're here? I mean, I've taken a photograph of a lot of fidgets that I have in a bucket that I keep handy for Eric. I think having this type of thing is available for him either during a lesson or just during a break.
And I think that's critical in that, obviously, you know your son, but in the classroom, teachers have those fidgets as well. So in remote learning, I think having a bucket nearby or on a table of things that he can grab during his lessons, or, you know, just if he looks like he's getting anxious or, you know, inattentive, those fidgets work very nicely for students and adults, by the way. But I think that's a great informational piece, especially with remote learning, because I think the attention span is less so than in a classroom where everybody is interacting and you can see different things. So remote learning kind of makes that a little bit more distant. So I think those fidgets are you know, pretty critical, actually. Nice idea.
I agree, and I found that Eric's focus is actually even a little bit shorter in the home learning because he can more easily become distracted and get lost in the connection to the teacher on the screen. he's good for a while, but he loses it. And I think, quite frankly, it's gotten a little bit less in a remote scenario. So we're trying to work on that, but you know, we, like anything, you know, we got to continue to practice.
Right.
Next slide, please. Request that the educator builds in the work breaks too, right? I mean, that can be said for the classroom. They blast through the 45-minute period or whatever it may be, but in remote instruction, I think it's important to also create some social time, maybe start the class off with telling a joke, have a show and tell. Sometimes that works really great for the younger students, keeping them engaged. Another conversational strategy is to discuss your favorite things, send it around the room. Music, sports, art, travel, hobbies, family traditions are all great, fair, open conversations that are a good lead-in, a work break, or maybe even a closer to a lesson. So I think that that's a good strategy too. Next slide. Communicate with your students and your education team. Correspond weekly so that you can stay on top of what's current, what's due. Check the Google email, use your calendar. A lot of people use the phone calendar. I'm an old school person. I like one on a clipboard. Use a checklist, create it for done work. Reward the progress. And if you correspond weekly, you know, and even more often, things won't fall through the cracks, and you won't learn suddenly at week 8 and the quarter ends at week 10 that many assignments are due. You want to kind of try and avoid that. So having ongoing communication is always really important, really in life too. Next slide. Thanks. Plan after school activities, right? Get outside. Larry, I put this one in for you. You're a great biker. You motivate others, I think. I took Eric on the Heritage Trail recently. It's really important. Breathe that outside air. We go birding often. I did see a blue heron in flight on my way off the trail, which was fabulous. Focus on the strengths. Not too long ago, Eric learned how to ride his bike. He's got a new one now at 13 and a half. This is a wonderful opportunity to get out there and do something that he's successful at. It's easy. It builds confidence. It builds a sense of independence. Eric loves the STEM club, and that's something that the school, I don't think, is going to be offering after school clubs in a remote instruction opportunity. So I'm thinking we may just build it at home once a week, come up with a science activity. There's so much to be found through Google, and kind of keep that alive. So I think after school activities, children become used to them, and in some ways, as families for remote instruction, we can still support our learners by keeping that in the routine, and I think it's important. Either Google Meet with a friend or get together at a park locally. You know, right now we all have to keep our social circles small, but these are still great activities and doable things. Elaine, thank you so much. The community collaboration is so important and helps build confidence. This is Eric. He was featured recently in the August Proactive Caring newsletter. He's showing one of his paintings. Eric paints weekly with xylophone, another place where he has confidence building and skill building and talent. I'm very proud of his work as a painter. He's doing a great job. And Elaine, you did a great job writing information about his skills, his talent, and how he was able to collaborate with the group to provide cartoons for both Peggy and Lisa in the digital online ebook that has been created, sharing all the wonderful collaborators that your team has put together to make that book as a resource to help reduce stress, anxiety, and offer strategies to families, educators, therapists, and community leaders. It's really great. So I enjoy your newsletter. I suggest that you try to build a portfolio for things that your educator or your student collaborate on to be able to show the successes, and that in time adds the confidence factor for your child to continue on a path of skills and hopefully find meaningful employment, for example, you know, and continue on a path of positivity and success. And as a parent, that's a recipe that we all want. So explore the creativity, log favorite activities and be sure you're working on them, and practice. You can always submit your students' work to local newspapers. Someone mentioned this in a parent training I was in when Eric was in preschool. This is the Goshen Independent, otherwise known as America's oldest newspaper. I love that paper. It's small, it's local, and it has great news, and they're always willing to make room for contributions of the youth. Here, Eric was featured during Shark Week over the summer, and he paints in a program with Xylophone, which is an amazing organization offering performing arts and creative arts opportunities for individuals of all ages and all abilities. Eric's been painting for over a year in a weekly workshop called Animal Art. He works with Daniel O'Brien, our instructor, and Daniel gives Eric 2 choices weekly on which animal he will choose to be the feature. And then Eric goes to Google, does some research, and creates 10 fun facts every week as part of his responsibility as the teacher assistant in this workshop to Daniel. We email them to him. We've gone virtual since April, and it's a great collaboration. Eric feels responsible. It's not something that I'm assigning. It's not a mommy said. It's Daniel needs the 10 fun facts. He has responsibility to the class and the workshop, and it's a great place. So now and then we submit to Goshen, thank our friends at that paper, and this is another great place to help any student build confidence. Often they're looking for things that are topical to what's going on in current events in the world to be able to match a submission, so you can keep that in mind. But really, sometimes they like to have things in the can if they have space to fill in a newspaper, and publishings happen that way as well. Continue to skill build always. Both my children have interest in the arts. My Jason has taken more to his music. Recently, he was asked to create a logo on the right side here for the Choose Love movement. He is a youth ambassador for the organization now, and he came up with this wonderful design, and we're hoping that they may actually use that going forward as they create their own mission statement. Eric makes courage cards now out of his artworks. This is exciting. Initially, he was procured by a girl in the Choose Love movement to do a fundraiser, and we sent her photos of his artworks. She made cards and sold them, and he contributed just over $50 for the fundraiser back in June. That was really great. And these come with an envelope, and we have a nice little sticker on the back that talks about donating money to the nonprofit group, the Choose Love movement. And it's really exciting. This is another area of possible path of meaningful employment for Eric, and it's a great way to continue to build confidence and skills. And of course, set reasonable goals. I think that's fair. It's important to have fun. This is a lesson my dad teaches. Keep things fun. If it's not fun, don't do it, my dad likes to say. It's a great lesson he's taught me and instilled in me as a value. So I think it's important to share that. When we talked earlier about having breaks in a classroom or during a lesson, Eric has a math teacher that likes to tell jokes, and we've taken that to heart. I have him write postcards, some of those pre-made postcards. They come with a stamp, and he writes me jokes on the back of them, and we've been sending them out to relatives to put smiles on faces. This is great. So I shared a few, but he goes to Google and finds jokes. He's not made up any novel ones quite yet. I'm waiting. But we're getting, and it is helping his humor a little bit more and his sense of spontaneity, which I think is great. You can teach that a picture tells 1,000 words. It's certainly true. Eric loves cartooning, and you can, this is a Captain Underpants redesign that Eric made during the quarantine. It's a real funny story, and he tells it with enthusiasm. But really, you know, you can tell a story without words, and I think that that's important to say. A lot of times, some of our special needs individuals have challenges communicating, and some of our friends just don't have use of words, and that's okay. We can tell a story. We use gestures, we use smiles, we use pictures. So I wanted to just share that as a possible strategy to always keep in your tool belt as an opportunity to help educate a learner. Remote learning, it's important to work together. We found that as a family. Together, everyone achieves more. Back in the spring, I work hard to really help the kids with whatever they need, and I felt like I need more help. I had a conversation with Jason. I said, look, you're strong in science and math. Eric doesn't want to hear from me all day, all the time. He doesn't want me to be his buddy. His teachers are his teachers. To educate, he recognizes the teachers to be able to deliver the lessons, and mommy's the homework buddy, and it stops there. So this was a challenge I faced, and I took a look at what are my resources, and I decided let's pull in Jason to help for science and math, and let's pull in Brian for ELA and social studies, and I'll be the reinforcer. So that was a real strong teachable moment. So consider your resources and who else can be helpful when you consider your team, whoever the caregiver may be. Teach social and emotional learning in school and at home. The Choose Love formula is courage plus gratitude plus forgiveness plus compassion in action equals choose love. Teach empathy, teach bravery, take action, do random acts of kindness in school, at home, and in your community. This is a really important value. The Jessie Lewis Choose Love movement is a wonderful place where you can go on a website. Sorry, that slide didn't transfer correctly. It did have a heart. I apologize for that. My most proud quarantine accomplishment was to become the first New York Choose Love ambassador. You can visit our website, chooselovemovement.org, register, sign in, and anyone can download no cost social and emotional resources from grades K through 12, all downloadable by grade. Over the summer, the education team worked really hard to create a specific unit to reintegrate back into schools. It's called A Brave New World. Find that on our website. It will help educators and students understand the trauma we've all been through, what has happened, and how to grow forward. And that's really important. So I'm an ambassador for the program now here in New York. It's widely used in schools in 50 states. Program has been downloaded, and 90 countries in only 4 years. Check the story of Scarlett Lewis and how she created the Choose Love movement honoring her son, Jessie Lewis, who was sadly murdered at the Sandy Hook Elementary School years ago. So with that, I'm not sure, I know we're close to time, and it seems that Scarlett had double booked herself. She was maybe going to join us, but perhaps we'll have her join us in the future. She's not available right now.
I think that is wonderful, and we would and we would love to have her join us. You know, in the conversations I've had with you, I know how proud you are that you have become an ambassador, you know, in this unbelievable, you know, organization. I mean, the idea of, you know, that slide about this one here, courage and gratitude, forgiveness and compassion, choosing love. I really liked what you said about the fact that, when I say I like that you referenced it, you know, the fact that we've all been through trauma. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And
we're all good. That was the end of the show. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. I like this one as well. I think that's a good screensaver to keep up the talk. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he threw out a term which I love. And, you know, we all talk about, his name is Mark Bryan. And Mark Bryan is the co-author with Julia Cameron of The Artist Way. And through a friend, we've become friends. And Mark is an incredible person. And he has a number of books out there. And the book, The Artist Way, probably sold 3 or 4 million copies. It's well known in the field. And he's working on a book right now about intensive care stress, because he feels as though that anybody that's been in intensive care comes out with some type of post-traumatic stress. So what he's doing is he's capturing stories of people that have experienced that, you know, and he's right about that. I mean, you know, trauma presents itself in so many different ways, whether it be the trauma that Scarlett, you know, gives voice to, or the work that Mark is doing now, or right now for all of us, you know, the parents, the children, you know, the educators, the administrators, everybody is reeling from this uncertain space. And I think that one of the things that Mark referenced the other day is a term which I really like, not post-traumatic stress, but post-traumatic growth. And I love that term. You know, and the fact that we've all had trauma at different levels and different intensity throughout our lives. And the idea is with that, this post-traumatic growth. And Stacy, a tip of the hat, you did an incredible job with this today. You know, the focus was the idea of, you know, being present for students in these changing times. And with Lisa's meditation, with Peg's insight, and with your presentation, I think that we accomplished what we had hoped to do. So with that, thank you so much. And at this point, we'll bring this session to a close, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy. Had some great ideas to share. So
Absolutely.
thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Always happy to help anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Bye.